I don't know about you, but it's still quite cold in Detroit. So we're not quite out of boot season just yet. And I mean, it's gonna be a while for maybe even me here and all my good friends up in the north. What's up to all you Canadians north of us? Yeah, boot season is still in full effect. We're not quite into spring, and Nike just dropped a pair of very dope Air Force One boots. And I'm curious, do they hold up to the Gore-Tex Air Force Ones or the Air Force One utilities? I have had and used almost all of the other Air Force One boots, so I feel like I need to check these out as well because these do drop at a more attractive price point. And they're part of Nike's Move to Zero initiative, which of course, sustainability is dope. We like that. Today we are talking about the Nike Air Force One boot, recycled version, and a dope kelp sequoia medium olive with a little bit of pink. Let's see if these are up to the test of being a real, legit, usable winter boot. But before we get into it, you know we gotta take that closer look. Alright guys, welcome back. Now that you've seen a closer look of these bad boys right here, you guys are the greatest. I love you. Welcome to the channel if you haven't been here already. So join the fam, check the links. Links to cop these bad boys will be in the description below from Nike and eBay. So search for a deal, use those links to help out the channel. Thank you. Let's get into the sneakers right here. So it's an Air Force One, but it's not your typical Air Force One. It's an Air Force One boot. And a kind of a cool thing when you're tired of wearing maybe your Timberlands, your Red Wings, your Wolverines, or Danners, or whatever type of real boot that you wear, maybe you want to switch it up with a little bit of a sneaker boot action because they can look pretty dope and they have the aesthetics of sneakers with the utilities of boots. Nike has done a pretty good job, in my opinion, over the years of creating utility boot versions of a lot of different models. The Air Force One, probably the most prominent. One of my favorite would be the Air Force One Gore-Tex that came in a very similar shade of medium olive as these. The big difference immediately between these and those is price point. These came in cheaper. So that's a big deal, right? But it also means that you could be giving up a lot in terms of functionality. So one that comes to mind is the Nike Path Winter Boot. The Nike Path Winter Boot is a $90 to $100 retail. Beautiful price point, but it just doesn't have the same level of insulation, of ruggedness, of waterproofing as other Nike boots, specifically the Gore-Tex Air Force Ones, which come in at that near $200 or a little bit over $200 price point. There's a lot of give there, and there's some take as well. So maybe we can strike a happy medium with something like this. So this is just called an Air Force One boot, and it has been processed through the lens of the Move to Zero sustainability initiative that Nike is doing, where at least 20% of this shoe is from recycled materials. Now, one of the hallmarks, other than the packaging with these types of releases, is typically found in the midsole. The midsole will have that highly spec'd, chewed up garbage type of look to it, and you can see that injected into the mold of the midsole, and they put that in a couple other elements on this shoe as well. In my opinion, this doesn't take away from the performance of any kind of midsole. This is as good as any other midsole you're gonna have on a Nike product, but it's made out of recycled material, which is cool. And I think it creates a cool, unique type of pattern on here. So the spec pattern is something we've seen on a lot of different sneakers over the years. It's been done intentionally. This one is done more or less out of necessity, and it's dope because there's a lot of cool little colors in here. There's greens, yellows, blues, reds, but that doesn't take away from the overall aesthetic of the shoe, and it doesn't mean you can't pair this accordingly. Now, aesthetics-wise, this is probably going to be a little polarizing. I think some people are gonna like this. I think other people are gonna be shied away from it because other than certain pieces of overlays, the silhouette itself, this is a little bit of a departure from traditional Air Force One aesthetics, though you can see the Air Force One influence all over it. I think personally, for a utility boot that's meant to get beat up, I like this kind of rugged, more outdoorsy feel to it. I also think the unique look is appropriate for something like this. I mean, do we really just want an Air Force One that looks like an Air Force One? I think it's kind of cool to change this up. Air Force Ones have their place, and this version of the Air Force One is filling a different need. So a unique look is dope. And I really like the color palette that they chose for this one. Now, there was a more black anthracite-y type color as well that dropped with these. I opted for this one here. It's kelp, medium olive, and then you see this nice touch of pink right here in the middle of the upper, a little Neapolitan style. I really like the way this little pink hits with the brown. I think it just goes together well. Then you got dark gray and black on the midsole and this nice big fat mudguard here. So utility wise, immediately holding this shoe, I already know that this is going to be more durable, more waterproof, better insulated than, say, the Nike Pathwinner boots. Do they go up to the level of the Gore-Tex? I think they get close, though I don't think they will exceed the level of insulation and waterproofing you get because of Gore-Tex being the material used throughout that shoe. But this one is going to hold its own. You can tell by the weight and the padding, this is a very insulative shoe that's going to keep you warm, number one. Number two, the tongue is stitched into the upper almost all the way to the top eyelets here, so that lends more protection, more waterproofing from the elements. But one of my favorite things, because of the tongues on boots like this and other real utility boots being stitched so high, it can be a pain to get those shoes on. This tongue has a little bit more give to it, a little bit more stretch, and putting these on was incredibly easy. I tried these on right after I tried on a pair of Jordan 1s, and the difference was amazing. The Jordan 1s, I'm using my shoehorn, I'm jamming my foot in there. These were sliding on and off really easily, very comfortable. That's a big plus in terms of being an everyday shoe, especially in the colder months when you're already mad about going outside. You don't want to be struggling with your boot to go out and face the elements. This gets on nice and easy, and it laces up nice and easy and nice and securely. I also like the lacing system. It's very easy. I actually laced through this giant tongue, so I just laced it on the side and then tucked the laces behind the tongue. I think it gave it a nice look, and it doesn't have the laces just kind of in front of that. Nice clean look. You could also lace behind the tongue if you want to go super clean with it. Speaking of design up here, I do like this giant tab up here. It's a synthetic leather, but it uses more of that recycled material to make the Nike here, so you can see it's just stamped in there, and it's the same specked colored material as you get on the midsole. You also get more of that on the back. Classic Nike Air logo, but made out of the recycled material as well. Another little synthetic leather piece here, little pull tab, which I didn't need because these are super easy to get on. Big plus, like I said. And then you got more synthetic leathers back here, making out the rest of the upper. Of course, the little pinky part here is a canvas, Nike swooshed on leather as well. Nice embroidery, nice stitching. Everything really does come together nicely on this shoe. And I really like the fact that this comes in at a more attractive price point than some other Gore-Tex level style Nike products that you would want to use out in colder elements. This one, you're going to get away with it for a little bit less. As far as sizing goes, I went true to size. The same size I use with my Air Force Ones, I went with these, and they fit wonderfully. Like I said, they slide on super easy. They're very comfortable. You can get some nice chunky socks in there. You can have normal socks in there. Whatever the case, comfortable platform. Didn't feel my foot slipping around at all. True to size definitely is the way to go. So overall, I really like what they did here because they created an Air Force One boot that straddles that nice middle ground between capabilities and quality and affordability, right? This isn't as crazy priced as the Gore-Tex Air Force Ones, but you're also not giving up all the benefits that you have with the Gore-Tex Air Force Ones when you go down to something like the Nike Pathwinner boot that's sub 100. This one sits nice in the middle, and honestly, I think it gives you everything that you need that the higher priced items do without having to break the bank. At this point, it becomes aesthetics because you're getting waterproofing, you're getting insulation, you're getting durability, you're getting ruggedness. So I don't think you have to overpay for something like the Gore-Tex Air Force Ones, and you also don't have to go down to the level of the Nike Path, which you can check both of those reviews out right here if you are so inclined. The only reason why I think you would maybe go up to the Air Force Ones is because maybe you like the aesthetics of that one better than this one, although I think these unique aesthetics on this one do look pretty dope if I say so myself. Let me know what you think about all these sneakers, especially these down in the comments below, guys. Join the fam if you haven't, and I will see you guys on the next one. Love you. Peace.